The next day, Liam is summoned to meet Princess Scarlet, and this time she's not in disguise, so Liam will have to be careful about how he responds to her. Liam enters her palace and kneels before her, but Scarlet wants to get down to business, so she calls for a seat to be brought for Liam and mentions that she had heard about him defeating an armored caterpillar and a giant frog. In particular, she's really impressed that he was able to kill a frog without using any high-level magic because this is the first time anyone has managed to pull that off. However, she is even more interested in Liam's familiars, so she asks him to show her what they can do. Liam can tell that she is trying to use her authority to force him to obey, but he can't accept her request. Scarlet asks him if he really intends to refuse a direct request from a noble, but regardless of what the consequences may be, Liam remains firm on his answer and absolutely refuses to turn his friends into a circus act. He was fully prepared to face Scarlet's wrath for refusing her, but to his surprise, she bursts out in laughter. Liam is the first person she has met who stays true to their morals even in the face of higher authority, and she finds that really amusing, so she wants to reward him. She declares that from this moment on, Liam will be given the title of Baron. Liam freaks out because he doesn't think he did anything to deserve such a title, but Scarlet has taken a liking to him, and she's the princess, so she can do whatever she wants. This way, Liam's family won't lose their status as nobility, but there's something else Scarlet wants to give him. She presents Liam with a familiar contract grimoire, and Liam is way more excited about this than he was about becoming a baron. So he thanks Scarlet profusely and goes on his merry way to practice with his new grimoire. A little while later, Liam is sitting out in the forest while reading the grimoire, and he is able to use the spells inside pretty easily, but until he masters the book, his contracts won't be permanent. While he's still practicing, he notices Bruno walk up to him, and he's really surprised since Bruno got married and left home a while ago. He asks Bruno why he's here, but he doesn't have a real reason. He just wanted to come hang out with his brother, mainly so he could congratulate Liam in person for becoming a baron, as it's a massive accomplishment. He tells Liam that he basically outranks their father now, but Liam doesn't understand what he means since their father is a count and Liam is only a baron. Bruno explains that while barons are lower ranked than other counts, this country separates nobles into different categories. Basically, those who accomplish something and earn their titles on their own, and those who inherited their title. So of course, those who earn their titles are seen as more impressive. Liam had no idea that was how it worked, but even if he now outranks his father, he doesn't really care since he just wants to learn magic. As he is walking through the halls, he comes across Albrevet, so he greets him. But Albrevet rudely ignores him, so Liam is left wondering why he is so mad. Meanwhile, Albrevet is absolutely furious that his stupid little brother is somehow overshadowing him. While he's walking, he overhears a couple of maids talking about how much Liam has been accomplishing lately, and he takes great offense to this. So he yells at them and says if they think Liam is so amazing, then maybe they should quit and go work for him instead. The maids realize Albrevet is jealous of Liam, so they quickly apologize for offending him. But Albrevet isn't done yet, so he asks the maids if they think Liam is better than him. The answer is pretty clear since one of them is a magic prodigy who earned himself a title at the age of 12, while the other is an entitled brat who hasn't a single noteworthy thing in his life. However, the maids would like to keep their jobs, so they don't say this and instead tell Albrevet that he is better than Liam. Albrevet then walks away in a huff, and he is determined to prove that he really is better than Liam, so he swears that he will accomplish something as well. The next day, Liam meets with Asuna and Jody in town, and the three of them seem to have become quite popular. Mostly because of how pretty Jody and Asuna are, and consequently, every guy in the crowd is staring daggers at Liam out of jealousy. Moving on, Liam wants the three of them to officially form a party, but he doesn't want to force them to do something they don't want to do, so he asks if they are okay with it. Neither Asuna nor Jody have any reason to object to Liam's idea, so they agree to form a party with him, and later that day, they all head out into the forest on a mission. Jody uses her bow and arrow to strike a wolf in the neck, and while it's weakened, Asuna runs in and finishes it off with her sword. Liam compliments Asuna because she has become a lot faster since she became his familiar. And speaking of improvements, Jody notices that she no longer has old lady vision thanks to the contract making her a kid again. Liam asks if it's always a good thing to have better vision, and as far as Jody is concerned, she would ever say no to having better eyesight, especially since she's an archer. Since that's the case, Liam raises his hand and casts an enhancement spell on Jody's eyes, allowing her to see way farther than she could before. Asuna asks Liam about what he just did, so he explains that he just used a basic enhancement spell to give Jody better vision. Asuna thinks that sounds really cool, so she asks Liam to cast an enhancement spell on her as well, but Liam doesn't think that's such a good idea. He could probably enhance Asuna's combat power, but they would be risky since there's a high chance she would break her bones under the stress of her new strength. But something like boosted vision has no real drawbacks. With her 20/20 vision, Jody can practically snipe anything that is within range of her bow, and it's all thanks to Liam, so she's really grateful. After a long day of hunting, Liam and the others return to the guild, but they are shocked to see the place in absolute chaos. They ask what happened and are told that Albrevit caused a huge mess by breaking the forest seal. Liam immediately realizes that Albrevit must have attempted to defeat the monster sealed in the forest out of twisted jealousy, and Liam believes this is partially his fault, so he runs out to the forest to assess the situation. He and the others soon arrive on the scene, and it is much worse than anything they could have imagined. Dozens of soldiers are badly wounded and many more are already dead, so Liam is absolutely horrified. He then spots Albrevit lying on the ground injured and runs over to check on him. But as soon as Albrevit sees him, he gets up in a frenzy and starts yelling that he hasn't failed yet. Just then, the guildmaster takes a stick and whacks Albrevit over the head with it because the situation is already crazy enough as it is, so he doesn't need a crazy, insecure noble running around. Once Albrevit is taken away, the guildmaster approaches Liam and tells him he's glad he came. Asuna asks him about what's going on, so he explains that the dragon fiend, Raiden, used to be sealed inside these woods thanks to the hard work of Liam's great-grandfather, but Albrevit undid that seal in a failed attempt to kill Raiden, so it's now on the loose. They know how to reseal the beast, and the guildmaster has already gathered all the necessary people to do it, but there's something preventing them from sealing Raiden away again, and that's Raiden's children. The little Radons are actually the ones responsible for all the damage that was done here, and if this much carnage can be caused by the little ones, then imagine what the real Raiden can do. Luckily, since Raiden has been sealed away for so long, it'll take about a week for him to regain his strength and attack. So if they can manage to reseal Raiden before then, they can avert a disaster. Liam plans to help as much as possible, so he races over to Raiden's location and finds him being guarded by the 3 little Radons. The little Radons aren't that big, so Asuma decides to try her luck and runs in for an attack, but as she does so, one of the little Radons shoots a fireball at her, and although she manages to dodge it, the tree behind her gets completely vaporized. Liam then tries using his magic missiles to attack, but the Radons use their fireballs to counter, so Liam doesn't know what to do anymore. His strongest attack spell did not affect them, but he still has one more trick he could try, so he orders Asuna to take Jody and run. The Radons all charge at Liam, but before they could get to him, he opens his Anotherworld gate and lets them fall in, so they are all trapped inside now. The guildmaster can't believe that Liam was able to defeat all 3 of the little Radons on their own, and neither can Liam since that was a really close call. Now that the little Radons can't interfere anymore, the guildmaster calls for everyone to begin sealing Raiden away again. While that's going on, Asuna and Jody return to Liam's side and he's relieved that they are alright. They ask him about the spell he used to defeat the little Radons, so Liam explains that it's a spell that creates a separate dimension. He trapped the little Radons in there, but there's no risk of them escaping since at his current level of mastery, whenever he closes the gate, everything inside the dimension disappears. Just then, Liam hears a voice in his head, and in the next second, he is pulled into the mind of Raiden. Raiden refers to Liam as a human with an immense soul, and asks him who he is, but Liam doesn't understand the question since as far as he knows, he's just a regular human. Liam may say that, but Raiden isn't convinced since he can clearly see that Liam's body and soul do not match. Liam realizes that Raiden might be referring to the fact that he reincarnated into the body of Liam Hamilton, so he wonders if Raiden might know the reason behind it, but unfortunately, Raiden has no idea. However, what he does know is that Liam's life is bound to be an interesting one, so he offers to make a deal with him. He wants to accompany Liam through his life, and he promises that he will not bring any harm to Liam or those around him if he agrees. In fact, he offers to help Liam build on top of the skills he already possesses, and Liam doesn't sense any animosity coming from Raiden, so he ends up agreeing to the deal. All of a sudden, Raiden's body dematerializes and is absorbed into Liam's soul, leaving the dragon mark on his hand. Liam can feel the power of Raiden flowing through his body, so he decides to do a little test run and fires his magic missile into the sky. To his surprise, he is now able to control and fire 17 spells at the same time. And it must be thanks to the power boost Raiden granted him, but using Raiden's power seems to have some negative side effects since everyone around Liam begins to suffer headaches from being exposed to such dense mana. Liam notices everyone struggling and realizes his mana is the cause, so he suppresses it and apologizes for acting so thoughtlessly. As his way of showing his sincerity, he offers the guildmaster 10 kilograms worth of gold dust and tells him to use it to pay for the treatment of those who were badly injured in this fight. Later that night, Liam has a meeting with his father, and his father is really grateful for what Liam did since it prevented a great disaster from being caused by Albrevit's short-sightedness. He also heard that James is still in town, so word of Liam's great accomplishment should reach the royal capital soon enough. That night, Liam goes to bed, but by the time he wakes up the next morning, he realizes that 2 new spells just spawned in his head. He rushes outside so he can test out the spells. With several hours of practice, he is finally able to use one of them and summons a little Raiden. With a little more practice, Liam will be able to make the little Raiden useful for combat, but as of now, it's pretty much just a cute pet. While Liam is playing with the little Raiden, Princess Scarlet happens to walk up behind him, and she recognizes the magic Liam just used as holy magic. She already knew Liam was impressive, but to think he would be capable of using holy magic at such a young age. Anyway, that's not why Scarlet is here today. She is here to give Liam his reward for defeating the Dragon Fiend. She personally wanted to grant him a higher title of nobility, but the other nobles were really opposed to the idea of a landless child being promoted so frequently, so instead, she decides to give him the Order of the Phoenix, 3rd class. While she's here, she also wants to hear about how Liam managed to defeat the dragon, since depending on the details, you may have to declare him as their country's hero. However, the princess is completely horrified upon learning that Liam absorbed the Dragon Fiend. She thinks this means she was totally wrong about him, but then again, she did just see him use holy magic, so maybe not. In any case, she tells Liam to keep that detail secret no matter what,